Since there's still no upcoming boxing events anywhere in sight, by popular demand, this time we're going to be taking a look at another blast from the not too distant past, Joe Calzaghe versus Roy Jones Jr., and this is going to be another quick film study. So the first thing I want to talk about is the knockdown in round 1 by Roy Jones Jr. and how it was set up. Keep in mind this is a southpaw versus orthodox matchup, so the open side of each fighter is exposed to the power hand of their opponent. The open side, being the side your rear hand is on, is known as the open side because your only line of defense is your rear hand. You can also think of the open side as the side your belly button is facing. The closed side is the side of your lead hand and is much more protected because you have your hand, your shoulder, and your elbow to protect yourself from attacks coming on that side. So let's take a look at the knockdown.
Calzaghe knows that Jones is quicker in the center of the ring, and down goes Calzaghe, just as he was down in the first.
So we see Jones steps to the outside angle with a jab to the outside of Calzaghe's lead foot. Since Jones initiated the angle, he's the one who initiated the position, Calzaghe is now in a disadvantageous position and now has to react to Jones's attack. Since Calzaghe's open side is completely open to Jones's right hand, he has very little option but to try to avoid this right hand. He tries to slip the punch to the outside, but he still gets caught because he's still in such a disadvantageous position. So we see Calzaghe tries to slip the punch to the outside but still gets caught because Jones is at the advantageous position. And you see Calzaghe gets dropped. So here again you see Jones step to the outside angle behind a jab, and Calzaghe tries to slip the follow-up punch to the outside, but he still gets caught on, well, basically by the forearm of Jones, but because he's such a disadvantaged position, he still gets caught by the punch. When the outside angle was established on him, Calzaghe could have avoided this by either stepping away to the left or stepping into the space vacated by Jones, the space that Jones was just at. By moving his feet, he changes the position and is no longer going to be in that disadvantageous position. He won't be there to be hit, but instead he stands there to be hit and gets hit. And we see in the next round, Calzaghe still hasn't adjusted to this right hand of Jones on the open side. Notice that Jones keeps shooting the right hand as a lead right hand after stepping to the outside angle in order to line up Calzaghe down the center line and in the line of fire of his right hand. And he's not getting dropped by these right hands, but we won't see him make an adjustment until the next round.
And what's up with Jones now? That he's not fazed by what happened in round 1, and that he can swap.
So by round 3, Calzaghe adjusts to the right hand lead from Jones, and it becomes the Joe Calzaghe show from here on out. So Calzaghe, we see he positions himself much better to defend against the lead right hand on his open side. You see he actually stands slightly further away at a slightly further distance so that now he could see the punch coming. With distance, he makes Roy Jones reach for that right hand so that he could see it coming. He has more time to see it coming. Notice he also stands with his lead foot more in front of Jones's lead foot. You can't really see it here, but you could kind of tell by the position of their knees that he's less on the inside of Jones's lead foot and more directly in front of it. So this means Jones is going to have a harder time getting onto the outside angle to line up that straight right hand. We also see Calzaghe slips this right hand to the outside just enough to slip the punch and no more. That way he could come back with a counter as soon as the right hand is thrown. And we even see after his counter combination, Joe Calzaghe steps to the outside, effectively turning Jones and stepping away from any possible counter that Jones could throw. Very good defensive responsibility. And Calzaghe continues to avoid almost every right hand after. Notice here how he's keeping his distance and is able to see that right hand. Here you see him stepping to the outside angle, keeping his distance, checking that distance, and is able to see the right hand coming. Notice when the right hand is thrown, he's able to slip to the outside that time, turn Roy Jones. So Joe Calzaghe was able to dominate the rest of the fight off of his non-stop offense and combination punching. However, you can't just expect to walk in front of a guy like Roy Jones Jr. and just start punching. You need to set up your offense. So we're going to take a close look at some of the best combinations from Joe Calzaghe and how he was able to set them up.
By Jones. Calzaghe unfazed. Goes at him with his hands held low.
Roy's punches are much more flashy and much more powerful. But, unless he...
Calzaghe shows Jones the lead jab at a long distance, so Jones can't effectively counter it. This backs Jones up, and the rest of the offense will be set off of this lead hand from Calzaghe. So the jab gets Jones to back up, and Calzaghe is going to show him his lead hand again. You notice he's showing him his lead hand as a feint, and since Jones just stands there like a statue, you see Calzaghe's going to pop him with a 1-2, and then this 1-2 gets him to back up onto the ropes into a high guard. With Jones in the high guard, Calzaghe shows the lead hand again down the middle to blind Jones, control the empty space between them, occupy his guard, and most importantly, make him think a punching is coming down the middle. So off of the lead hand, we see Calzaghe feint a straight left hand down the middle, which prompts Jones to try to counter it, but he counters nothing because it was just a feint. Then we see Calzaghe go back into showing him the lead hand. By showing the lead hand again down the middle, he manipulates Jones's guard into a high guard, which is used to block straight punches. This lead hand is used as a misdirection so that he could go around Jones's high guard with hooks. And there's the right hook that loops around the high guard of Roy Jones, and you notice that he continues the offense, trying to go around the high guard. Here we're going to see another combination from Calzaghe that is set up off of his lead hand.
Yes, he's intimidating Roy, he's hitting Roy with punches, and to me, outside of the first round, he's won, even though you may not have given it to him, I thought he's...
So once again, we see Calzaghe show Jones the lead hand, and while he shows the lead hand, he maintains a safe distance so that he could pressure him safely, and then he works him into the corner. With Jones cornered again, Calzaghe attempts to misdirect him again with this position. Notice that his lead hand is down the middle to show a jab, and his left hand is low to indicate an uppercut. The important detail is that they are both punches that are going to be thrown down the middle. He's trying to make Jones think he's going to throw a jab into an uppercut up the middle. So we see Jones takes the bait and reaches out to check Calzaghe's lead hand. Calzaghe immediately launches his attack off of this parry from Jones because Jones's lead hand is now out, and now Calzaghe only has to worry about Jones's right hand. So we see Calzaghe step in as Jones is retracting his lead hand, and Calzaghe goes with the looping shots around the high guard, but you see that Jones is in a high guard because he must have thought that a punch was coming up the middle based on the position that Calzaghe was feinting earlier, and you see that each shot that Calzaghe throws is around the high guard. Smart offense from Calzaghe, misdirecting Roy Jones.
Yes, he's intimidating Roy, he's hitting Roy with punches, and to me, outside of the first round, he's won, even though you may not have given it to him, I thought he's...
Calzaghe's punch is starting to do more damage. Calzaghe grins as he goes back to the hunt. Jones has landed a couple of good counter shots.
So we see once again with Roy Jones pressured onto the ropes again, Calzaghe is going to try to walk him into his offense. So with Roy Jones on the ropes, Jones could only escape by moving to his left or moving to his right. And to the right of Jones is the corner. So Calzaghe is going to try to walk Jones into the corner here, and the only way to do that is by cutting him off and stepping to the outside angle. As you see, if he steps to the outside angle, then that means Jones has no option but to move over to his right, which is towards the corner. So now that Calzaghe knows that Jones only has one way to go, he's going to set his offense off for this. Calzaghe steps in at the outside angle, which prompts Jones to smartly try to counter with a check hook. However, Calzaghe doesn't commit to a punch as he steps in, allowing him to not get caught coming in, and this is because he probably anticipated this counter from Jones, which is very smart of him. So now with Jones's left side cut off by Calzaghe, Jones is now predictably going to circle out to his right towards the corner, and Calzaghe is going to cut him off, chase him down with a shift in order to cut the distance. Calzaghe's shift allows him to cut the distance on the retreating Jones, and instead of punching, Calzaghe shifts into a left hand that simply just holds Jones in place to control Jones's head. And Calzaghe's head control with his left hand allows him to set up this big right hand, which is the punch that opened up the big cut on Roy Jones, which bothered him for the rest of the fight. So once again, we're going to see Jones on the ropes, and Calzaghe is going to step to the outside to manipulate Jones, make Jones move over to his right. See him step over, dodges the counter, and then is going to step over to the outside angle again, causes Jones to move to his right into the corner. Now with Jones in the corner, you see Calzaghe chases him down with a shift, and off of that shift he controls him with head control so that he could land that big right hand. And this last example really shows that Joe Calzaghe was able to do whatever he wanted to Roy Jones by the middle to late of the fight. So you see that Calzaghe is constantly feinting him with jabs and actually throwing real jabs at him, and is shooting these jabs and 1-2s from so far away that Jones can't possibly counter them because Calzaghe is actually pulling back right after these jabs and 1-2s. So he would be able to counter Jones if Jones tried to counter, and this was the game plan. There you see him shoot another jab, and there's no counter attempt, and he does this to pressure Jones onto the ropes. So you see here, he pressures him all the way to the ropes using the same strategy of shooting these jabs from long distance, making Jones back up, and not able to counter him. So once he traps him on the ropes, then he commits to these real attacks where you see him light him up with these lightning quick combinations. So just to reiterate, Calzaghe's plan throughout the fight was to pressure Jones and move him back by feinting at him and shooting these jabs and 1-2s from such far distance that Jones can't possibly counter. There you see him shoot a jab, but Jones can't counter it because it's so far. It's not meant to hit him. And you see a 1-2, also not meant to hit Jones, but gets him to back up onto the ropes, which accomplishes his goal. So you see here that he keeps feinting at him, and he shoots his jab from so far away, and you notice that he pulls back from this jab just in case Jones counters. So if Jones were to try to counter it, then Calzaghe could actually step in off of that counter and counter Jones's counter. And this game plan caused Roy Jones to become very hesitant to throw any counters. So once he started standing on the ropes like a statue, then Calzaghe was able to launch his attacks and dominate the fight. As always, thank you everybody for watching. If you liked what you saw and want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. And if there's any boxing fights that happened in the past that you want me to cover, please let me know in the comments below. Since it seems like there's not any boxing anytime soon, I'll be doing fights from the past. So thank you all for watching again, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Fuck it, it's all in due time. I turn the blood to a road to dreams of being a beetle. Don't want to, I need to. You gotta learn to keep it so quick. But when you come up in a place where everyone got a piece but ain't peaceful, this is just part one. Wait till the sequel.